At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Looks like I might be having some issues getting on Facebook, so I need to do a quick check here. I was trying to, looks like everything is A-okay. I will not be able to have chat this morning because when I went into chat, it was not working. I have to do the email login, and I don't want to bore you with all of that. So good morning. Happy Wednesday. I'm back in Reading. I'm excited to be back in my studio and giving you the forecast that you so much appreciate and, of course, can count on, be the most accurate in the area. So again, I'm just kind of getting through that here. We'll not worry about the chat. I won't be able to see your hellos, your information, all that stuff. I apologize for that, but I will be prepared for that tomorrow as I log on. I can do the login information, all the works, and we'll be good to go on that. All right. In the meantime, let's get you to your forecast, and we are going to start off with, boy, I've been having some issues with, let's see if it's working. I've also been having some issues with my box that I push the buttons and it does everything for me. Oh, there we go. It's working now. Good morning. Wednesday morning. It is October 9th. We're going to go ahead and start with Krueger's Quickcast here this morning. This is just for you, for those of you that are checking in the morning. You can very easily and quickly check out the forecast and you'll be good to go. All right. So the temperatures right now, actually not that bad. I can check your posts, by the way. I'm going to do it kind of a different way, kind of a backdoor type of thing, and I can actually check out your comments. So I can say good morning to Debbie Chappie, some of your regulars. We got Shelly. Good morning to you, Shelly. I know you're a teacher, and so I always appreciate when I can see you here in the morning. You might be able to just check in real quickly before you got to head off to school here. So National Pro-Life Cupcake Day. National Pro-Life Cupcake Day. Awesome. All right, fun. Anyways, upper 50s right now, 66 in Chico, Weaverville 43, Hayfork 39, and right at that freezing point in El Tourist, 32 degrees. Look at the fog that we do have out there this morning, and we are seeing some fog in Trinity, along the coast here. This is just north of Trinidad that we're looking at right here, and you can see that fog. Let's go and take a look at the fog that we have right now in Crescent City. Now, it's also, you may notice if you're waking up in the morning, you're going, man, it's just darker than normal. We're starting to see, it's starting off darker and darker. We're seeing the days we're starting to see less and less sunshine through the day as we get closer and closer to winter. Winter, as you know, is the shortest day of the year. After that, the days start to get higher and higher. So we're watching the days get shorter as we approach the first day of winter. But we're in fall, so let's get through fall first. All right, I'm going to take you back to the Trinidad camera here, and you can see the fog that we are. That's a little bit more clear that you can see that fog there. Otherwise, as we take a look at, again, the visibility out there, we've got some pretty dense fog. No advisories or anything of that nature, but just be forewarned if you live on the coast that you'll be dealing with fog most likely on your morning commute. So let's get you out the door this morning at 8 o'clock this morning. You're looking at those temperatures, probably somewhere in the mid to upper 40s for the higher elevations. In Trinity County, about 44, 49 for Siskiyou County, and the Eastern Mountains, about 48. And for the valley, not bad. Temperature of about 58 degrees, and of course that fog for the north coast. There's the fog for the coast even through noon. It's going to have a hard time burning off this afternoon. We'll call it mostly cloudy, but another thing you'll notice for everybody else is an increase in high clouds and mid-level clouds throughout the day today. It's going to stay dry. You'll just notice a bit more in the way of cloud cover. That will also help to contribute to the cooler temperatures that we will see. Wasn't so cool yesterday. And if you recall yesterday during my forecast, I said it's going to be hot. It's going to be borderline 100 degrees for some spots here. And that's essentially what happened here. I was forecasting like 97, 98 for the hottest. But look at that. I mean, it was 2, sometimes even 3 degrees warmer than my actual forecast high. High of 100 Red Bluff. That actually, from what I understand, that tied a record. 101 Corning, 100 in Norville. So yeah, a very hot day again yesterday. But I think This is the last time we're going to squeeze out those triple digits. Take a look at the October highs. We start off October. The first week in October in Reading, it's the first day, right? 102 on Wednesday, a mid to upper 90s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then right around 100 degrees for Sunday, Monday, and even yesterday, again, close to 100. But I think we're going to start to see our temperatures get closer to normal and below average later this week. That will be nice to see. Number of 100 plus degree days, now that we can kind of tally it all up now, because I think we are done for the year. We're only a couple of days shy of the record in 2022 as well as 2017. So we can look at this and go, wow, this was definitely a hot summer. Number of 110 plus degree days. Same situation here, only shy by a degree or two from the records from 2017 in 1988. This is the number of days we saw 110 degrees or higher, and the record was in 1988 with 15 days. This year, it was 13 days. So today, no hundreds, no 110s, in fact, right around a 90 for the valley. Now, again, we always give ourselves that little bit of variance in the accuracy, give ourselves about 2 to 3 degrees in either direction. So even if we go up 3 degrees from there, it's not going to get anywhere near 100. So we're done with that. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s for the higher elevations, low 60s along the coast. All right, let's go and take a look at that 7-day outlook for the valley. There's a chance for showers, by the way, on Saturday, but stick around for the deeper dive forecast because we'll be talking about those chances and how much rain we expect. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of rain out of this. I think where we're going to see most of that rain on Saturday will be on the coast, inland, and even Trinity County could see at least some measurable rainfall out of this. And then we take a look at Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains. And another thing, of course, the chance for showers, but also notice those cooler temperatures. And even though it's going to warm up slightly by Sunday and early next week, we should most likely keep those temperatures around or even just below normal for this time of the year. Let's take a look at those winds out there right now. And of course, by the way, that's Krueger's Quickcast. So those of you that are checking in and you got your forecast for the day, have a great day. Otherwise, stick around. We're going to have more detail. We're going to take a look at the fire weather risk here for today as well. And you can see the wind's not that strong this morning. They're not expected to really be all that strong this afternoon. Just your typical afternoon breezes, especially in the eastern mountains, but nothing unusual, nothing to be alarmed about. Still dry out there, but we are starting to see an uptick in those humidity levels because our temperatures are starting to drop. So we look at the fire weather risk for today. You're starting to see a little bit of yellow in there, but otherwise we're just mainly looking at low to moderate in the valley. Wow, look at Lake Oroville Cam right now. That is a beautiful sunrise. We're getting that time of the year where as we start at 7 o'clock here in the morning, we get some beautiful sunrise colors here, even without the clouds. But boy, when you start adding those clouds, we're going to have some beautiful mornings here. Looks like we are seeing, of course, those clear skies in Lake Oroville, North Forebay as well. There is Main Street Chico on Highway 32. Looks like you got a little bit of traffic out there, and your typical work trucks as well, right? A lot of landscapers, for example. Highway 99 at Neal Road. Looks like traffic is flowing smoothly there. And this is Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. Doesn't look like we have any backups in the traffic there as well. And I was checking the photos you sent this morning, and Deborah sent this. You may remember, if you were lucky enough to check out the Northern Lights a couple of nights ago, you could see this. Now, a lot of times, you can't see it with the naked eye, but once you pull out your camera and take a snapshot, you can see this. So this is from Scott Valley. So, in Siskiyou County in particular, we were able to see it, right? And this is thanks to Deborah Ann. What a beautiful shot. We live in such a beautiful area. I mean, look at the stars out there, too. So, Deborah Ann, thank you. I'm assuming you probably took this with your phone. It's amazing what we can do with our phones now. I mean, look at the detail in that photo. Of course, you've got the northern lights, right? But you've also got the stars prominently shown in that picture as well. I'm not sure what's off there in the distance there with those lights, but absolutely gorgeous. Thanks to Deborah Ann for sending in that photo. By the way, if you want to share your photos, get the northern lights or anything, a beautiful sunrise or a sunset picture, clouds, rain, snow, whatever. Share your photos from the Free Weather NorCal app. It's the easiest thing to do, folks. It's so easy. If you don't have the app, search for Weather NorCal in your app store, and you can download the app for free today. All right, look at the high temperatures something happened there. What are we doing here? Oh, why? There's something weird. Oh, man. Something happened here. I accidentally deleted something in my show, and I shouldn't have. And that, of course, is the sponsor. I don't want to do that. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, boy. Let's see if I can do... Well, we'll just have to mention it, and I'll have to try to find it when we're done. Studio frames. Let's do this. Let's do when. Oh, there it is. Found it. Yay! Just doing some behind the scenes here, folks. That's about it here. But you know what? Before we get to that, let us check in with everybody. See how you're doing out there this morning. Good morning. We've got Curtis Brown welcoming the cooler temps. Can spend the evenings outside now. I tell you what. Yeah, I mean. We love our backyard, and you got the pool, and you can sometimes get the water feature going, a little waterfall, and especially when it's those cool evenings, it's just so nice to hang out there, enjoy, maybe a nice beverage before you're going to bed or whatever. So it's always nice. Good morning from Linda. We've got Catherine. Mike leaves the house. Gnomes play with his equipment. You know, you're right. I will say that. There was some weird stuff going on with my equipment here when I came in. I was like, why is the switcher not working properly? I had to do a reboot of the computer, and of course that kind of wreaked a little bit of havoc as well. I had to kind of fix a few things as well. So yeah, I think some gnomes kind of came in. I'm starting to think that maybe the studio doors were open when I came home. And I'm wondering if the cat came in and just started walking all over the keys and stuff. Who knows? Thick fog in Fortuna. Thank you, Rowdy. We got Curtis. Of course, we mentioned that a little bit earlier. And we got Catherine. We had a fire 1 acre off of 299 and Castle Road. Too close. Yeah, still in fire season. And she says, big thanks to our fire responders, that is. They jumped right on it. Yeah. Again, that's the reason why I still cover the fire weather, right? Because we've got to look at the winds, the humidity, and just the fire danger in general, because we're still in the fire season, despite the fact that we're talking about cooler temperatures and a chance for rain. It's when we start getting in November, December, that we can usually start resting a little easier. However, we've seen in years past, sometimes that fire season goes well into even sometimes November. But based on the overall trends that I'm seeing, cooler temperatures, looks like we're seeing some better chances for rain in there. We may be able to end the fire season here soon. But we're in October, so typically fire season still goes well into October, so we got to check that out as well. So thank you for that report, Catherine. I'm sure it was a bit of a nail biter, but I'm glad everything is okay and you are okay, and the firefighters were able to get a handle on it quickly. On my drive home from the airport yesterday from Sacramento to Redding, it was really strange. There was just this big rig. It didn't have a trailer behind it, but this big rig that was on the side of the road, and from the inside out, so the inside of the cabin, just massive flames. The thing was on fire. There were fire trucks that were really just approaching the scene as I passed it. But just an amazing sight. And of course, from the distance, you can see this big plume of black smoke. But yeah, I mean, I could see the firefighters coming from both directions, coming down the highway and going there to kind of to take care of the situation. So it happens, right? And thank goodness that didn't spread onto the vegetation, because it was on the side of the road. A lot of dry vegetation there, so thank goodness it didn't spread and create problems here. So, all right, again, thanks, Catherine, for that report. All right, let's get you to our main deep dive forecast, and we have got Coffee with Krueger, which is made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, let's go ahead and get you to your forecast. Oh, yeah, I have to do this first because I loaded that in, and now we're good to go. We should be good to go at this point. All right, look at the high temperatures we saw out there yesterday. Now, if you remember yesterday in the forecast, I mentioned that the highs are going to be the upper 90s, but it was still not out of the question for some areas to possibly reach 100 degrees. That's exactly what happened. In fact, Corning, you got up to 101 yesterday. So Mother Nature, one last day. And this is something I've been talking about even since I'm like, Mother Nature is saying, no, I got one more day for you of 100 degrees. Nope, one more day. And then the next day comes, no, how about one more day? And I think yesterday was it. Because we're down to 90 today, and we're down to the 80s by tomorrow. And then once we look at the long range, we're steering clear of even the 90s. So I think it's safe to say that most likely yesterday was the last day. Some of us have seen 100 degrees here for the rest of the year. It was close in Redding, it was close in Chico, the high of 99. But look at the higher elevations. Susanville, one of the warmest spots at 90, but 82 for Alturas, 86 in Hoopa, and those mid-60s for the coast yesterday. So we look at the almanac here. Here's how we started October. The first week of October, it was mid to upper 90s, so even over 100 degrees. We started off the first and second day of October over 100 degrees. We did drop below 100 degrees, but barely, right? And then 100 degrees plus for Sunday, Monday. And then yesterday, Redding just shy of that 100-degree mark. And then we'll see those temperatures really plummet as we go into the next few days. Look at the number of days that we've seen 100 degrees plus. And again, as I mentioned, yesterday was the last day we saw 100 degrees plus. We're done with it. So I think we can tally it up and say this year, just shy of 70 days of 100 degrees plus for the entire year so far. 2022, 2017, look at that. I mean, those are the records. The record is 2017 with 72 days. Just a couple of days shy of that. So I think it's safe to say that it was a hot year, not to mention the fact that we broke the official, again, the key word there is the official high at the Redding Airport with 119 degrees, breaking the old record of 118. Again, that's the official high. I know others were probably hotter than that. I know. All right, this year, 110 plus, 13 days. That's 1 degree shy of 2017 record and the all-time record set in 1988 of 15 days. 110 plus. Man, it was a hot summer, that is for sure, and we are on the back end of it, and things are looking up and up with the temperatures, or should I say down and down, because temperatures are going down. Temperatures mid to upper 50s right now for Redding, down to Corning, mid 60s for Chico, 64 degrees for Oroville, and then we've got those 30s. Look at that. And we're at the freezing point in Alturas at 32 degrees. 36 for Chester, and you've got those mid-50s for the coast. So here are your headlines. We just might be done with the triple digits this year. I think it's time to celebrate. Have a big party. Woo, we're done, right? Summer is out of here. It was officially over a week ago, right? But a couple weeks ago, really. But it hasn't felt like it. But we're finally done with it, and we're going to see the gradual cooling trend. It's going to feel more like fall by the end of the week, this weekend as well. Slight chance for showers by Friday night, Saturday, and stays below normal well into next week. We're going to be kind of hovering around that, but still close, still cooler, right? The winds right now are not all that bad. Let's take a look at the next few days. And again, you know, we're still seeing fires out there. We're still seeing that concern for fires. That's why we still got to talk about the fire weather risk. So for today, nothing unusual with the winds. For tomorrow, nothing unusual with the winds, just some typical afternoon breezes. Now you'll notice on Friday, the winds are picking up in the valley and the eastern mountains. This is basically in response to, you see right here, some very strong winds here with the cold front that's approaching. This is in response to the approaching storm system. That's the only reason why. But it's not going to be strong enough to create, wind advisories or even really elevate that fire weather risk a whole lot. But it'll just be gusty out there by the time we do get into really Friday and into Saturday. But there you can see the humidity levels. Actually not bad in Redding, but much drier in Chico at about 8%. But at the overall trend, really across the board, is we're going to see a slight upward tick in those humidity levels. And the reason for that is because we're seeing cooler air move in. And that's one of the reasons why we start to see those humidity levels go up. There you can see kind of in that low to moderate, see a little bit of yellow in there. That's indicating at least that moderate fire weather risk here. That's the case again for Thursday. But remember, we saw on Friday, those winds are picking up from the south. Yeah, we're still kind of a little bit in that moderate range here because it still is fairly dry, but we're not, at least we're not seeing any oranges and reds in there. So that's good to see. But again, those winds is definitely picking up here. So here's the big picture. You see right here, kind of this broad spinning. We've got these disturbances, the clouds right here. This is all moving in our direction slowly. This is all just shifting to the east and southeast. Eventually what's going to happen, and we're starting to see it happen right here, this little piece of energy right here is going to break off and develop its own upper level low system. It'll break off from the main area of low pressure. That is what's eventually going to bring us a chance for showers by Friday evening and into Saturday morning. So let's take a look at Futurecast. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's the fog this morning on that we're seeing this for the coast. We take you into the afternoon. Still some of that fog lingering, but we also notice through the morning and afternoon, we're going to see some high and even a few mid-level clouds begin to work their way in through the day today. It's not going to bring us any rain. I think some of you, it may look a little ominous out there, but it won't bring us any rainfall. And it's still dry, right? As we go into tonight, we're seeing some of those clouds still kind of lingering around. We take you into your Thursday, we actually see some clearing and really not much in the way of fog for the coast. And then for your Friday, look at this. There's that approaching storm system. Now, Futurecast may be overdoing it on the intensity of this storm, but I think what's going to happen is first of all, it's favoring kind of us to the south. So less chances to the north, so probably not as much rain out of this system for places like Oregon, for example. So it's kind of favoring to the south before it kind of continues to move down to the south and east. The timing of this at this point looks to be late in the afternoon for the coast. You start to see some showers. That then pushes eastward Friday evening, Friday night, and into Saturday morning. By Saturday afternoon, it's dry. This system's out of here. So this is mainly going to be, for the most part, for Northern California, a Friday night, early Saturday morning event. Starting for the coast, eventually working its way into the eastern mountains by Saturday morning. All right, so let's take a look at the bigger picture, because this only takes us to Friday, 5 p.m. Now let's take a look at the bigger picture. There's that storm system. You see how it's approaching. You've got the area of low pressure shifting eastward. There's Saturday morning is what we're looking at right here. You see the showers and see how it's favoring to the south. You're not seeing any rain in Oregon. This low pressure system is kind of shifting to the south and east, so that's why we're seeing more rain to the south and east, but it fizzles apart. This is going to be your standard system that on Friday night, that once it moves over the coastal range, it breaks apart and doesn't bring much rain, if anything, for the valley. Now, just for fun, we're going to take you out to next Wednesday. Okay, so a week from today, maybe another shot for some showers out there. But again, you can see it breaks apart, but it does look to be a little bit stronger next Wednesday. Then for Thursday, Friday, you see what's happening? We've got a ridge of high pressure building in, but kind of riding over that ridge are these storm systems, right? So some of those may just clip Northern California by the end of next week. Now, again, we're looking out, 10 days plus, right? A lot happens between now and then. This may not even come close to happening, but you get the idea. We're starting to see the trending cooler. We're starting to see trending towards more wet weather in the forecast as well. Let's take a look at those forecast rainfall totals. This is just looking at the long-range forecast, so I don't want you to take these numbers to be exact, but I want you to see what I'm talking about. So I think the bulk of the rain, and you can see here, this is through Saturday at noon. You see how we're not seeing as much accumulating rain to the north? Now, I think it's overdoing it for the valley, for Redding, Chico, and Willows. I think it traced to maybe a few hundreds at most, if we even see that accumulating rain. So I think what will happen is most of it will be for the coast. See upwards of a tenth for Eureka, probably not as much in Crescent City because, again, it's favoring to the south. You've got Trinity County getting in on some of this, probably maybe over a tenth of an inch of rainfall, possibly, with Saturday's system. Breaks apart, right? And then we're not seeing as much in the valley. And typically, sometimes these systems can, as they move up the mountains, we get some orographic lifting. The air lifts up the mountains here. So essentially, think of this. You've got the valley, right? You've got the valley. So you got the mountains here. Valley, so as it goes down the valley, the air sinks, and then that doesn't support cloud and rain development, so a lot of times the storms break apart, so it goes down the valley. As it goes up in the eastern mountains, what happens is we start to go up the mountains, and that air goes up the mountains, and especially if it's windy, that will help to bring in more clouds and rain. So that's typically sometimes what happens. The valley tends to get shadowed with these weaker systems, and what that shadowing means is less rainfall and then more rainfall in the mountains. So that's, again, kind of that, hopefully that was understandable. Basically, it's the mountains that tend to see more rainfall and the coast, and the valley with these weaker systems tend to see less rainfall. Now, just for fun, we're going to take you out to next Wednesday, way overdoing it, I think, with over an inch of rainfall for the coast, but you get the idea. Wednesday's system does look to be stronger, and as a result, probably more rainfall and maybe even better chances for some measurable rainfall in the valley. But again, probably not what you're seeing there, because looking at the Climate Prediction Center, still putting us in the gray area here is basically saying we have equal chances of seeing above and below normal rainfall. So it doesn't mean all bets are off with rain, but it also doesn't mean we're going to see a ton of rain. That's essentially what we're kind of looking at. The wetter conditions are up to our north. So here's the overall trend here. Bring on those cooler temps, because that's what's happening, folks. We've got this ridge of high pressure that's been dominant really the last few weeks. As we started October, you saw those temperatures, right? But this is shifting eastward because, see this area of low pressure breaking off from the main trough of low pressure. This is what's going to be moving in Friday night into Saturday, dropping our temperatures down. This then really just breaks apart. High pressure kind of comes back in. Now, this is something you go, oh my gosh, it's going to get hot again. No, it's not. This is a weak ridge. Keep in mind, too, the angle of the sun plays a big role in how hot it can get. In the middle of summer, in August, right, in July and August, the angle of the sun is much higher and it's much more intense during a ridge of high pressure like this. So when you have a more intense heat, it's going to be hotter. So the angle of the sun is now much lower, so it's not as intense with the ridge of high pressure like this. And that's why our temperatures don't get super hot as a result. But it's a ridge of high pressure nonetheless, and that's going to mean slightly warmer temperatures, but most likely still right around or just below normal, even into early next week. That ridge of high pressure then shifts back to the east. We've got this stronger system coming in next Wednesday into Thursday, could bring us another round of some rain. As I mentioned, it's stronger, so I think better chances for rain if this pans out. And then, of course, that'll kind of scoot on off to the east, warming back up a little bit here. But there's the 10-day trend for Redding. There's the low 90s today, around 90. Temperatures continue to drop. I think some of us in the valley on Saturday could only reach the upper 70s, right? And then we're kind of going up and then back down again with Wednesday's system, upper 70s, and then we're back up again Thursday, Friday. But you get the idea. No more triple digits that we're seeing here, and really no more 90s. By tomorrow, we're in the 80s, and we should stay in the 80s through the end of next week, if not longer. Now, I'm talking about triple digits being done with for the rest of the year. Does that mean 90s? Probably not. We'll have to watch that. But 80s are certainly in the long range here for a while. The wave heights for today are actually lowering a little bit here, and then they'll lower even more for your Thursday as well. So let's take a look at marine forecast for your Wednesday. North winds at 5 to 10 knots, waves from the north at about 4 feet at 5 seconds, and from the northwest at 6 feet at about 13 seconds. There's your high and low tide with that patchy, dense fog. Later this afternoon, it's pretty dense right now, but of course, you'll probably be looking at more patchy later this afternoon. There's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Highway 299 corridor, temperatures low to mid 80s. Oh, very nice. 85 for Coffee Creek, 84 in Trinity Center, Douglas City, about 87 degrees. Down to the south, 78 for High and Palm, Mad River, about 73. There's that chance for showers on Saturday. Drying out again for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Red Crest about 71, 80 in Garberville. Also that chance for showers. Pretty much everyone has a chance for showers Friday night into Saturday morning. That's the main event here. Ferndale, 62, and of course that fog this morning. You're seeing that also in Fortuna. It's 64 degrees for a high today in Rio Dell. 84 degrees in Willow Creek, 82 in Hoopa, about 67 for Trinidad. Eureka, about 61 degrees. We take you up north with 71 for Gas Key, 68 for Smith River, 65 for Oric, and 84 degrees out in Orleans. Let's take a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. For the Highway 96 corridor, you're looking at about 84 in Horse Creek, 80 for Hornbrook, but mainly upper 70s to low 80s for most of us in Siskiyou County. Scott Valley, about 78. That's the magic number from Callahan all the way up to Fort Jones. We take you out to central, eastern Siskiyou County. Low 70s for Doris, Tule Lake, Tennant, and McDowell, but Weed about 75. Mount Shasta City about 78. And there you can see Dunsmuir, about 82 degrees, McLeod 80. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, about 73 degrees for Newell, 79 for Fort Bidwell and Alturas, and 81 for Likely. And for the Eastern Mountains, 81 for Montgomery Creek, 77 Shingletown. The cooler spot will be in Viola at 72, 73 out in Old Station. There's your Lake Almanor and Lassen Park 7-day forecast. There's that chance for showers on Saturday. Still about 81 for Chester today, but down to the 70s by tomorrow and Friday. And for Paradise, you'll see a high of 83 degrees today. Mineral, 76. Susanville, 84 degrees. And Doyle, a high of about 85 degrees. Here's your Valley Neighborhood Forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. You've got those temperatures in the upper 80s to around 90. Really about 90 degrees, give or take, for the Valley. Some of the cooler spots will be to the south with 86 for Durham as well as Gridley and 88 degrees out in Oroville. I've got a chance for showers in there for you on Saturday, mainly Friday night into Saturday morning, but don't count on much. 90 degrees for the city of Shasta Lake, 91 for Redding and Anderson, and 90 in Cottonwood. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. Temperatures are just slowly but gradually dropping. We're down to 84 degrees by Friday. On Saturday, 80 degrees. And again, I think many of us in the Valley are going to struggle to get out of the 70s for those daytime highs on Saturday with that chance for showers. Sunday and Monday, 83 degrees, and looks like Tuesday, a high of about 81 degrees here. All right, that is going to do it for your forecast here this morning. Let's kind of check in and see how everybody's doing this morning. We've got Tracy Sackett saying, good morning. And Tracy's saying prayers for Florida. Absolutely. You got to think about your friends, your neighbors, family out there. They are going to be dealing with historical. It's going to be historical. And, I haven't been really covering, and really I focus on the local weather here. The way I look at it is this. We're in a day and age where people are getting their information from social media, the works, right? So most likely you're getting what you need out of the forecast for the hurricane from other sources. If you feel like you really that's something you want me to do, let me know. Maybe a personal message me or whatever, and see if that's something I could just maybe briefly touch on. But for the most part, I like to just leave it up to, you're going to get, more detailed and quite honestly better information from people who deal with it on a regular basis out in areas that get hurricanes on a regular basis. So that's just kind of my overall thoughts on that and why I'm not really covering it. Again, the whole idea behind Weather NorCal is local, right? How many times when I was working in TV news, I'd hear people say, it's not local news anymore. They don't talk about local news, blah, 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 right? All that, right? And so I want to keep Weather NorCal very hyper local for Northern California. That's just the bottom line. But, it might not be a bad idea for me to maybe at least touch on some of these national big stories because it is interesting any way you look at it. All right, Deborah Ann saying thank you. You're welcome. Good morning from Tom Frazier saying Mike and everyone looking forward to seeing cooler temperatures. I agree. I'm done with it. I'm done with the triple digits. And I got to go to Mexico for the tail end of this last of the triple digits. But when I got off the plane in Sacramento yesterday evening, I could feel the heat. I was like, ugh. This is that last day of triple digits, right? And then today about 90 and then, 80s. Looking pretty good here. Looking very nice as we kind of go into that as well. All right, well, that is going to do it for us. Let's see if the music works today. It might. We'll see. Let's see here. Here we go. Did it go up? Let me see if it worked. It should. I'm going to leave you with some cameras here. We're going to start off with Elk Country, north of Trinidad here. And you can see the fog that they're looking at there. But much more gorgeous out at Lake Oroville. I'm going to leave you with these cameras. Have yourselves a great Wednesday. Be sure to keep checking in for your latest forecast. You can always check it at 6 o'clock in the morning. The latest one also uploads at noon. And then the latest after that is at 6 p.m. So be sure to check those latest forecasts. Get the latest on the rain heading later this week. And we'll kind of get into that. All right, have yourselves a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning on Coffee with Krueger at 7 a.m. Made possible by Wind River Resort and Casino. Have a great day.